Your body is doing something terrifying at 3:47 a.m. Nobody has warned you about it. What scientists are now calling the predator window might explain why your worst anxiety always hits in the middle of the night. It might also explain why some of history's greatest artists did their best work when they should have been sleeping. Here's what's happening. Between 3 and 4 a.m., your body enters this weird biological state that was incredibly useful when we lived in caves, but it has become almost dangerous in modern life. Your cortisol levels start spiking, preparing you for what ancient humans called the danger hour. Back then, this made perfect sense. Predators hunted at dawn. Rival tribes attacked before sunrise. Your ancestors who woke up naturally during this window, scanning for threats, were the ones who survived long enough to pass on their genes. Congratulations, you inherited their paranoid nervous system. But here's where it gets interesting. When you wake up at 3:47, your brain isn't just randomly firing. It's running a threat assessment protocol that's 40,000 years old. The problem is your brain can't tell the difference between a saber-toothed tiger and your credit card bill. So it does what it's programmed to do. It searches for danger. And in the absence of real predators, it creates them. That email you sent yesterday becomes a career-ending mistake. That conversation with your partner becomes evidence they're leaving you. Your brain is literally manufacturing threats because that's what kept your ancestors alive. Now let's talk about what's actually happening in your body during this window. Your cortisol, which normally bottoms out during deep sleep, starts climbing around 3 a.m. This is called the cortisol awakening response, and it's supposed to prepare you for the day ahead. But when you wake up in the middle of it, you catch your body in this vulnerable in-between state. High cortisol plus low melatonin plus the frontal lobe of your brain not fully online yet. That's the part that does rational thinking, by the way. So you're experiencing real physiological stress without the cognitive tools to manage it properly. Here's something nobody tells you. That 3 a.m. anxiety isn't just in your head. Your blood sugar drops during the night, and by 3 or 4 a.m., it can trigger the release of adrenaline and cortisol to raise it back up. This is called nocturnal hypoglycemia, and it can literally jolt you awake with your heart racing. Your body thinks it's starving. It's activating the same emergency systems it would use if you were actually in danger. Add that to the cortisol spike, and you've got a perfect storm of stress hormones flooding your system while you're lying there in the dark. But here's the counterintuitive part. Some researchers now think this predator window isn't a bug. It's a feature. There's evidence that humans used to sleep in 2 phases, separated by a period of quiet wakefulness in the middle of the night. Historical records from before the Industrial Revolution describe first sleep and second sleep with an hour or 2 of gentle activity in between. People would pray, have sex, do light chores, or simply lie in bed thinking. This period was considered sacred time for reflection and creativity. And that creativity spike is real. When you wake up at 3 a.m., your brain is in this unique state. You're producing theta waves which are associated with deep creativity and insight. Your rational mind isn't fully in control yet, so ideas flow more freely. The great surrealist painter Salvador Dali used to nap holding a key over a metal plate. When he fell into deeper sleep, he'd drop the key and wake himself up to capture the bizarre creative thoughts from that in-between state. Franz Kafka wrote most of his darkest work in the middle of the night. So did Sylvia Plath and Charles Dickens. So how do you work with this instead of against it? First, understand that if you wake up at 3:47 and feel anxious, you're not broken. You're experiencing an evolutionary holdover that served an important purpose. The worst thing you can do is lie there fighting it, telling yourself you should be asleep. That just activates more stress. Instead, try this. Keep a small notebook by your bed. When you wake up, don't check your phone. That blue light will crash your melatonin even more. Instead, write down whatever your brain is worried about. Just getting it out of your head and onto paper can signal to your nervous system that the threat has been identified and handled. Second, address the blood sugar issue. A small protein-rich snack before bed can prevent that adrenaline surge. Some people swear by a spoonful of almond butter or a few nuts an hour before sleep. You're giving your body fuel, so it doesn't have to trigger emergency systems to raise your blood sugar at 3 a.m. This sounds too simple to work, but for a lot of people, it completely eliminates those middle-of-the-night wake-ups. Third, and this is important work with your temperature. Your core body temperature drops during the night and reaches its lowest point around 4 a.m. This drop is necessary for deep sleep, but the transition can wake you up. Keep your room cool around 65 to 68 degrees, but have a blanket you can pull up. The ability to adjust your microclimate without fully waking can help you drift back to sleep during the predator window. Now here's what to do if you're wide awake and you know you're not getting back to sleep quickly. Embrace it. Seriously, get up and do something gentle in low light. This is your chance to access that historical pattern of segmented sleep. Here are some gentle activities you can try. Read something calming. Do light stretching. Meditate if that's your thing. Journal about whatever's on your mind. The key is to avoid screens and bright lights, which will tell your brain it's morning. Use this time intentionally and it stops being a source of anxiety. Some people report this becomes their favorite part of the day once they stop fighting it. But let's address the real issue here. The reason the predator window has become dangerous in modern life isn't because of the biology. It's because of what we've layered on top of it. We're chronically stressed already. We drink caffeine late in the day. We stare at screens until we fall asleep. We carry our phones into bed with us, so the first thing we do when we wake at 3 a.m. is check email or news or social media. We're taking a natural biological process and turning it into a nightmare by adding modern stressors on top of ancient ones. Your ancestors woke up at 3:47 and listened to the forest. You wake up and immediately start doom scrolling. See the difference? They were responding to real immediate threats or confirming there weren't any and going back to sleep. You're inviting abstract digital anxiety into your most vulnerable state. Here's your action plan. Tonight, if you wake up during the predator window, remember your body is doing exactly what it evolved to do. Scan for threats. Find none. Maybe write them down if they're abstract worries. Adjust your temperature. Breathe slowly. And if you're truly awake, consider it bonus quiet time that humans have valued for thousands of years. You're not broken. Your sleep isn't ruined. You're just experiencing something that's been happening to humans since before we had words for it. The predator window isn't your enemy. It's a window into how your body has kept you safe for thousands of generations. The trick is learning to close it gently instead of letting it slam you into full panic mode at 3:47 a.m. Try one of these strategies tonight and let me know if it changes how you experience those middle-of-the-night wake-ups.